of course, they're going to be more susceptible because we get a virus. Essentially, the body is overreacting to a foreign threat and starts attacking other organs within the body mistakenly. So we have what we call cytokines, our body does. And essentially, our immune system is an army that fights off foreign threats. And it'll send cytokines to the scene of the crime, essentially. But the problem is, if we have diabetes or we're chronically stressed, if we have a lot of inflammation from the foods we eat, the cytokines don't necessarily know the difference between fighting the virus and fighting inflammation. So it's going to send actually extra cytokines that will overwhelm the body. And that is really the reason that we get sick from COVID-19. So it's not necessarily the virus itself, but it's our body's reaction to it. So, what we can do to essentially make sure that we're not staying chronically stressed or chronically inflamed is eating foods like fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, drinking a lot of water. I think a lot of that is common sense, but unfortunately, it's not always common practice. And, a lot of us are kind of going through our lives unconsciously and unaware of what we're doing to ourselves, which is to no fault of our own. Again, the system kind of sets us up for failure. There's 600,000 food items in the American food chain, and 80% of them have added sugars. There's a documentary called Fed Up, and I learned about it from Dr. Mark Hyman. If you haven't heard of Dr. Mark Hyman, I highly recommend you go check out his Instagram page. He's awesome. But he was a big part of that documentary, and they were talking about how in the late 70s, early 80s, there was that big kick to cut the fat out of a lot of foods and cut calories and slap labels on there that say, 100 less calories and half the fat, which is good, of course. But when you do that, you take that stuff out of processed foods, it tastes like cardboard, basically. So what did they have to do? They had to add sugar to make it taste good. And sugar, as we all know, is very addicting, and it can actually be to the point of becoming a toxin because our body doesn't know how to process it. And that's what makes us chronically stressed, chronically inflamed. When you're eating food, whether it's fruits, veggies, or it's fast food, McDonald's, Burger King, soda, every time you eat or drink, you're either fighting disease or you're feeding it. And so that's why I really feel passionate about my slogan of feed it or fight it. The choice is yours.